we are on a foundation of PMP. What's gonna be the foundation of it? And I'm gonna tell you only the important points, important things enough to know to clear the exam. So let's start with it. What you actually need to know for the exam, and it's actually gonna help you in your real life too. So it's a project management framework. It's a chapter before you actually. It's a the chapter which covers chapter 1, 2, and 3 in PMBOK 6th edition. You're not gonna see these information on exam. You might gonna see hardly one or two question out of this, but you need to know this to establish to understand the whole PMP project management things. Okay, so I just wrote the important information here, but listen to the words which I'm gonna say, because instead of writing all the words and everything to make whole book, I would like to explain it in my language, which will make your life more easy, I believe. Okay, so what is project? When we are starting with the project management, we would like to know what is project actually. So concentrate on the words because it can come on exam. Just assume that the project has these following categories. It is a temporary endeavor with a beginning and an end. It creates a unique product, service, and result. So it's actually here too. So project is a temporary endeavor and it has a starting and ending. It means we are saying project, whatever the project is, it is temporary. If it's starting, it has to end. If it's not ending, it's ongoing, it's not a project. I know in real life we actually say, oh, it's an ongoing project, which is actually it's not an ongoing project. It's hardly 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years long. It can be a project. A project is something which has a starting date and it has to end at some point, and we should know this end date in advance for sure. The project, at the end of the project, you get a it creates a unique product, service, or result. This is a characteristic which can come on exam, a kind of exact line, but of course, once the project is done, you get a kind of service or a product from it. For example, we want a website, we want to develop a website, a new website, because a new iPhone is coming. So that can be a project. It's definitely temporary. It's going to start on a one certain date and it's going to end on a certain date. For example, if I'll give you an example of a website, we just take an example. We already have a iPhone, and every year new iPhone comes. Right now, because I'm making this project course in 2020. So now a new phone is gonna come. We want a new phone website and new features to display on our website. So we will start on a project. The project will call, suppose iPhone 12 is coming, and it's gonna start with one date and the end for the one date. So it's like we are getting a product at the end of the project. Or suppose we are making a building construction, we're starting with all the designs and everything. We have a start date and it's gonna end, and at the end of the project we're gonna have a product, something for sure. So this is exact definition of a project. So why project exist? So this is done. Why project exist? So the reason project exists because whenever a company they are into an existence, projects are designed to bring a kind of positive change to the organization, usually whether they want to add a new features or new products or new services into their company, or if they want to improve their service, they can add these things into um, that's the reason project exists. Suppose new car is coming, new Mercedes Benz is coming, we are suppose class A is coming, so it's a project. We want to create a new car for our customers with a good mileage. That's our project. We have a start date and we have an end date. At the end of the project, we will have a new car for sure. And it's definitely going to benefit low or middle class people who can afford Mercedes in less money. So it's just an example, or it can be any project. We want to make a new bridge for the people who can go from their houses to the downtown, another city more fastly. That can be a project. So why project is just to bring a more positive, better change to make someone's life better, or we are just improving our services. So operations and project. So what happened when the project is done? Suppose we are making a new app for our customers. So we are making a calculator app, and once the calculator app has been done, or we're making a TikTok app or any app like a Facebook app, once the app has been done, project will be done, and we will deliver that Facebook or whatever app we have made to the operations and projects. So basically, operations work is ongoing work to support the business and systems of the organization, whereas the project work ends when the project is closed. It is important to understand the difference. Once a project is done, like, let me show you. So I would say project has a starting date, and they're working on a Facebook app. They made the Facebook app finished and they get the product. So operations and project, what they will do, they will take this product, they will release this product, but they will continuously fix on their bugs or whatever the issue it's coming, they're supporting. Or suppose anything comes up, like sometimes what happened in Facebook or in banking app, our face ID is not working, or our email money transfer is not working. So they all call bugs. So but they need ongoing support for lifetime. Once the product has been done, it is hand over to operations and projects. This is their job is. So I'm just gonna rub it out. Okay, so what else? Now it's a governance. So governance, I would say it's referred to the overall structure of the organization. Let me make it right. Okay, so it's a governance is a overall structure of the organization. It involves basically the policies and the procedures for how work will be performed to meet the high level strategic goals. Because in every company there's a governance, like in our real life we do have a police to govern ourselves, to make sure we on our roads we are following the policies, we are in our rules. That same way we do have a governance of in a company, which makes the policies and procedures which everyone has to follow. And these policies and procedures are always in accordance with the strategic goals for the company, the reason the company has been made. And a board of directors is responsible to ensure the work throughout the organization conforms and understands these standards. They basically set the standards. Like in a one company, you have to work from 9 to 5. You can't start work from 6 to and then go home at 2. It's just one of the example. It all depends on company standards, policies, what they want. Now I will tell you about portfolio, program, and project management, and I'll try to explain in an easy way. So, what is actually portfolio management and what is program management? Okay, so portfolio definitely is on the top. I would say, let me say portfolio. So, portfolio. In a company, there are so many projects come. A project can come where they have to introduce new mobile phones. Like suppose 4 projects come for mobile phones. 2 projects come to make a new laptops. It's just an example I'm throwing. 6 projects come to make mobile softwares. So different categories of projects. A company name A, B, and C, and they have a different kind of projects come. They want to release for different kind of phones, like 6-inch phone, 5-inch phone, or whatever. Different kind of phone projects. They want to release different kind of softwares. 6 projects in softwares and 2 in laptops. It's just an example, and maybe they want to release a book too. This is one project, or maybe they want to release 2 books. So you know how you see these are different categories. So under one umbrella, I would say this is an umbrella. In one umbrella where different categories like mobile, laptops, softwares, books, these all different kind of projects come, and the person who manages it is a portfolio manager, and they are managing their portfolio. So whenever we go to any company like Samsung, just an example, or Apple, just take an example of Apple. They have mobile phones, they have MacBooks, they have different softwares, or maybe they have a books for developers or something. So it's we go and we ask, what is your portfolio? A company has a portfolio and they manage different kind of projects. So who manage these projects are called portfolio managers, and what we call this a portfolio management. So what happened after that? Let's take a blue. And after that, a program manager comes. How I was saying, it's portfolio management and then the program management comes. What is program management? So program management comes only one category. Sorry, it's supposed to be mobile. Only one category. So portfolio manager will have so many different kind of group categories, and under portfolio manager there will be program managers. Suppose he has 3 program manager. One program manager can have all these 4 projects of mobile. He can't have 4 laptops, because he can have as many as projects but of the same category. Like how there were 4 different categories in under portfolio, under program managers there will be only one category. Doesn't matter how many projects, all one category would be under one portfolio manager. Program manager. Another program manager would have only laptops, and another program manager would have only software. So they can have more projects but of the same category, and the person who managed these projects will be a program manager. And after that, what comes is our project management. I would say project management. So a person who actually managed the project is a project manager. What the project manager management is, so out of these 4 mobile projects, there would be under this program manager, there would be 1, 2, 3, 4 project managers, and the first one would deal with first mobile project, second would deal with second mobile project, third will deal with third mobile project, and fourth will deal with fourth mobile project. So basically a project manager has usually 1 project maximum. He can have 2 projects for sure, but mostly in a company a project manager will manage only 1 project. So project manager comes under program manager, and you got it right. They actually deal with the project, and in this exam you have to focus. You are a project manager and you are dealing with the project, only 1 project, and then you have to, there can be like the 4 different project managers, and you have to think in a way that you're working in a large company and you have 1 project. Basically this whole exam is, you are a project manager, what project managers should do in these circumstances, and how they will manage the project according to the project PMP standards, what kind of knowledge they're going to apply to do this. So let's go ahead with this. What is PMO? I would say PMO in this, you should know an important topic. It's an important topic. Basically, project management office is a departmental unit within an organization that provides or ensure compliance with project governments, which is just making sure that you are working with the compliance of company. And therefore there are three different type of project management types, which is supportive, controlling, and directive. So what basically these three types are? Let's talk about supportive. I'm going to change the color. Let's make it a little darker. Okay, so supportive. So supportive is PMO provides. There are three different kinds of PMO: project management office, supportive, controlling, and directive. You should know this for your exam for sure. Supportive PMO provides the policies, methodologies, and templates and lesson learned. Lesson learned. Okay, for managing projects within the organization. What else you need to know? It typically exercise a low level of control. So which is supportive, they will support you and they have low level control over you because they are supportive in nature. And then we have controlling. A PMO provides support and guidance on how to manage projects, train others. So they basically give you a kind of information on this, and it is typically a moderate level of control over the project. So in supportive, where they are supporting, very low level of control, they don't control you, they are there to support. And that's the reason they have a lesson learned. It means whatever you have learned. So what basically happened in every single company, we have a lesson learned. This is a very important topic which I'm going to discuss after this project roles, but let me name this here as lesson learned. So what is lesson learned? It's basically, suppose you're working on a project, you've dealt with so many bad things, good things, whatever the lesson you have learned, you're gonna document those and gonna put that into companies' assets. So every company has an asset somewhere. Like if I'm gonna go and join a company, I'm gonna look for the training material, blah blah blah, and the assets for sure. Whatever the company has, it's like a lesson learned. So if I'm a project manager and I have been appointed onto a new project, to learn about the company, I will go to the assets and to learn about, of course, if I'm new to the company, I want to know how other project managers previously managed the project or what they have done differently. I will go to the lesson learned. So lesson learned is you can say it's a kind of magician thing for me, which gonna give me the answers. If the similar projects has been done before, it would have written what has been gone good, what was gone bad, what stakeholders you shouldn't talk, or blah blah blah, these kind of things. So supportive PMO is something which actually support you. Controlling is there, definitely they control you, but only moderate level control. They don't control you in very hard way. Directive basically gives directions. You can't negotiate on this. They just give you direction and you have to follow it. So it's a high level control. So these three kind of PMO you are supposed to know. Next, organization structure. So what basically an organization structure is? For this, I would say again there are three types which you need to know. One is functional, very very important this for exam. One is project oriented, and the last one is matrix. Okay, in matrix we have weak and strong. I'll give you an example of this. So let's talk about the functional. What is functional? This is a common organizational structure, and usually we group it by the specialization. So if in exam you get a question in which kind of organization structure, we group it by the functional areas like accounting, marketing, IT, manufacturing. That is a functional. In functional, always a functional manager, we can call the function manager or resource manager, they have a more power than project manager. So you can say here functional has, okay, not here, okay, so functional organizational structure, a functional manager always have more power than project manager. Okay, and then we have project oriented, as I said here, project oriented. So what is project oriented? Let me go back. Okay, so project oriented is more about project. So it means the whole company, you know how contractors work, they are hired on project basis. Once the project is over, they have no place to go, they have to leave the job or go to the another project, go to the another company. So this is what project oriented environment is, and here the more authority is with project manager. What is weak and strong matrix? So weak and strong matrix. What is actually matrix? I would say matrix is a combination of functional and project uh, oriented. It's a mixture, it's a balance of it. So here they both have the authorization. So in functional, only functional manager they have more authorization. In project oriented, it's go by words that project manager has more authorities than functional manager. But in matrix, which is the most important one, and this is a kind of environment, it's a real-time environment in which we all work, is matrix. So in weak matrix, what happened? A functional manager has more authority than a project manager. In a strong matrix environment, project manager has a more authority than a functional manager. Just always think about, you are a project manager, you are strong, you have more authority than any other manager. You are weak, you have less authority than any other manager. Just get it simple as it is. Okay, let's go ahead with the project rules. This is very important now. How are we gonna deal with it? Okay, let me clear this. Clear the board. Okay, so project rules. This is very, very important. You need to learn, I mean, you need to just understand it. There is one more term actually which can count. Have you ever heard about a project coordinator? Let me tell you. Oh, this is a position where a project coordinator has some authorities to make a decisions, but they report to the high level managers. Just to let you know if it ever comes. If not, then you should know, because of just for knowledge. So let's start with project rules. Discuss about what is OPA. It's organization process assets. So you will see this term throughout the book, throughout the course, throughout the PMP, what it is exactly. So you can get it from the assets, organization, process, assets. So whatever we needed, like the processes, procedures, policy. If you join a company, you want to know the process, procedures, policies, the company, follow, you can find those in assets, organizational process assets. This is what we do. And you can find many other things. You are working on a project, you want to make a something like a resource, how to use a resource, or how to do estimates on a project, or how to make a report, how to do activities. Everything is you're gonna find in process assets. We call these lesson learns actually, and these are a part of organization process assets. You need to remember this because this is very important. So organization process assets also include, so whenever we do a project, we manage the project, whatever the lessons we learn from that, we document those and put that the knowledge into a database called lesson learned. It's a database for a company, and in that database we can put all the lesson and historical information, what went wrong, what went good, what did we learn from these kind of things you're going to find in a lesson learned, which is automatically a part of our organization process assets. So this is the only thing you need to come to know. And what is enterprise environment factors? So, we also call this EEF. Enterprise environment factors are similar to organization process assets in that they provide context within which to plan the project. They're basically the external or internal factors which affect the project. That's it. External factors can be government, market condition, or anything else which can would or a change in a currency. These kind of external factors can impact our project for sure. And internal factors can be like a software. They have a software which you have to use it. You can't go with another software or communication tools. So whatever the internal factors, or maybe the culture, or you can say the company has been, the CEO is of particular culture, so the kind of different culture has been followed in a company. So internal factors. So whenever you're planning a project, you have to consider the external and internal factors all the time. This is called EEF. And uh, what would be the work performance data information and report? So in short, I would say you're gonna see these terms a lot in the exam and throughout the syllabus of PMP. Work performance data is a raw. Whenever you get a data, just consider it's a raw information. You have to process the information, which we call work performance information, and whatever would be the result of it, it will be a report which we call work performance report. And that's it. So what we're going to start after this, we're going to start working on the chapter. This was just the base of it, and in a whole syllabus you're going to see how these terms would come all over, and you just, if your base is strong, you can clear most of the questions of PMP. Let's go ahead and start the chapters now. There are a couple of roles which can be in a project management, especially which you really need to understand for the project, this exam perspective. There is a chance you might not gonna understand all these rules right now. You will gain a kind of 50% out of it, but I highly suggest you have to look for whole videos, everything, at least 2 to 3 times if you want to clear the exam on your first attempt, because there is a chance on the very first time you're going to understand 50%, even though you think that, oh, you understand all 100%, it might not going to stay in your mind. You have to go through these videos and the information at least 2 to 3 times. So let's go ahead and do the role of the people which are going to be a part of project management. The first is sponsor. Excuse my handwriting. So sponsor. So sponsor basically is a person who is, I'm gonna definitely give you the all rules of that, but sponsor is a kind of a boss to a project manager. So a sponsor, or or you can say senior management, they are boss of project manager. So project manager basically report to sponsors, project owners, senior management. So these people are always on top of project manager. And why we do the project I mean, why we manage the project, and who are the customers. So the end users, the customers, or people who are gonna use the product of the project are called stakeholders. So these are the terms which we're gonna use in our of course for this exam, and also in our real life. So stakeholders are the people, concentrate here, stakeholders are the people which are negatively or positively impacted by the product of this project, and stakeholders are those people which actually can make an impact on a negatively or positively impact on the project too. So in simple language, stakeholders are people which will be affected by the project, and these are the people who can impact our project. So people who get affected and who can make an impact on our project are called stakeholders. They can be anyone, customers, contractors, end users, or anyone. They can be like our sponsor can be stakeholder too, because he can be one of the person too who's going to use the end product or app. So sponsor basically is the one, can be stakeholder or cannot be stakeholder, but he will always be the top, a person who will initiate the project, who will initiate actually a project. He is a person who initiate the project charter. Project charter is something which definitely I'm gonna tell you. Okay, so under project manager, what happens? Under project management, there are so many people like designer. Excuse my handwriting for sure. Designer, or you can say a developer, or a tester, like QA people can come under this project managers, or blah blah, these kind of people. There is always a business analyst, which can be, we all which is a on almost the same position of project manager. We call them project management team, because these are the people who has management experience. Other project managers or BA, which is business analyst, would be project management team. But people who are under project manager, like designer who's going to design the product, and then the developer who would develop the product, and the testers or QA who will actually test the product, and once it's done by the tester, it's gonna go to whether sponsor to, so that he can accept it, or it's going to go to directly to stakeholders after the tester is verified and everything. It's going to go to stakeholders so that they can accept their deliverables. So but we call these teams, which comes under project managers, project team. So there is a difference. People who are under project manager, and project manager manage his team or her team, is project team. But a project management team is a team which gonna help in management stuff for to a project manager. This is what we are. So now in detail, we're gonna learn about the role of the sponsor. But before that, I'm just also gonna let you know, it's pretty kind of basic how things work and how project starts. I'm just wrapping it up. Okay, so what happened? First of all, I'm just gonna give you a very kind of glance of that. So what happened? something came into a company, and before we hire project manager, we have a like sponsor, and like suppose 5 people get together, they're like, okay, now we have to make a new website because new iPhone is coming, and we are a telecommunication company, and we would like to um, make a website pages to release this new iPhone onto our website with a great plan so that people can buy it. So it's kind maybe making a website with 4 pages. Say how the process gonna work. So there would be like 5 or 6 people which get together, which will decide, oh, this is our requirement is we want 4 pages with 1 page with so they're gonna think about the requirements. 1 page with the phone image, another second page would be with the plan and information, third page can be like terms and condition or whatever, or fourth could be like anything. So suppose they have to make a web page, 4 pages in total, for like a checkout card or these kind of things, they have to make it, and this is a project they want. So 4 or 5 people, suppose they get together and they think about these, do the brainstorming, and what we call them, because they want this thing to be done, so they call stakeholders. Sponsor is a person who definitely comes under, so stakeholder can be anyone, and it's going to be end users. They're going to give the contract to a company. Suppose they give the contract to Virgin Mobile, which is a very famous telecommunication company. Suppose they give to Virgin Mobile, they give it to portfolio, and the company will grab it, and it's going to go to the program manager, and then it's going to come to project manager. But before it comes to project manager, there is a sponsor who is actually oh, you can say a product owner also, but they're sponsor who are sponsoring, and um, who is actually making a document called project charter. It's very important document. I'll tell you more about this document, but this is a person who will make a project charter. Haha. So these are two words just to let you know. So project charter. Sponsor is a person, is the one who provides the financial resources for the project. However, the exam has attributed additional duties to the sponsor, but basically sponsor has two main duties: provide finance resources for the project, and second, he is the one who approves the project charter. He is the one who finalizes and approves the project charter. What project charter is, I'll tell you in detail, but until the project charter is approved by sponsor, a project manager can't start the process of project management. The project come into existence the moment sponsor signs the project charter, because project charter is a document where it's written who will be the project manager. There can be a 50 project managers in the company, but to whom we want to give this new website project, the sponsor will decide who will be the project manager on this project. So he will create a document named project charter. I can give you a little bit more about the project charter, what it will have it. But for now, I want you to know a sponsor will approve and create the project charter so that the project can come into existence. This is so far you need to know this. But of course, I'm going to tell you a lot about project charter because this is one of the most important topic. So what happened after that? So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna discuss the rules of sponsor. We're gonna discuss the rules for project manager, which is important. We're gonna discuss the role of stakeholder. And of course, project management, a manager has a team like a designer, developer, testers. We're gonna discuss their roles also. So let's start with sponsor. Let's start with sponsor. I'm almost done. Da-da-da. So these gonna be sponsor. Excuse my handwriting for sure. Okay, so what is his role? There are so many roles he actually does, but overview would be, so sponsor can be a stakeholder and he has some requirements which has to be met. It can be his own requirement, or he can took the requirements from the stakeholder and give it to you. Whatever the requirements he says, it has to be met. If he says A is A, then A is A. If he says this has to be done and I approve this, this has to be done. No matter what, if the thing is wrong, you can't negotiate with sponsor. If he says this is day, then it is day. If he says it's night, it's night. If he says do this, do this. You don't have to think anything else, because if he's saying you have to do it as a project manager, you have to do it because that's your job. That's why they hide you. You can suggest, but you have to do it. And the question can come related to in the exam. If sponsors say this, I approve this, do this, what you will do? You will not go in a process to determine what would be the impact or what will happen if we will do it, or you will not negotiate, you will just do it. That is one of the question which usually comes on exams. Okay, so sponsor is a person who participates in developing the business case for the project. So these things might not gonna help, put more impact right now, but when you will come back, it will make more impact and you will be able to understand it more. So business case, what business case is, I'm gonna explain you in a while for sure. So what he does more helps to define measurable project objectives, like what are the objectives for the project, advocates for champion the project, especially when the project concept is being put together. Service of voice, he's a voice of the project and spokesperson to those who do not know about the project, including the upper management. If someone doesn't know about the project, or if we are going in any presentation, just put a more emphasis on this. If we are doing any presentation and if in exam a question asks who should be the who should give the opening presentation about the review for the project, sponsor is the only person who knows a lot and the most information about the project. So he should be the person who should be the voice of the project, and he should be the person who should present the project objectives always, no matter what, if rest of the presentation is taken care by project manager. Gathers the appropriate support for the project. So he's a person who actually helps project manager throughout all the processes. Doesn't matter he's initiating, planning, or executing, or monitoring, controlling, or closing. Wherever project manager needs, sponsor is there for him. He's the one provides funding, ensures buy-in throughout the organization. Like he makes sure everyone is included and everyone has a faith in his project. This is his duty for sure. Provides high-level requirements. So what it means, a sponsor put high-level requirements to a project manager or anyone in a project charter, which is a document. I'm gonna write it here. It's project, because we're gonna explain this for sure. Charter. Okay, so what he's gonna do, he's gonna explain the high level requirements in project charter, and he will just say, okay, we need 4 pages because we're gonna release a new mobile. That's it. And the 4 pages, one will have mobile, and the second will have terms and conditions, third will have like videos, or fourth could have whatever. We will release the new 4 pages with these things. This is called high level requirement. That's the only thing he's gonna give. He might gonna give funding, so he's gonna say, okay, I'm gonna give total of $5,000 project manager will be this, and the starting date is 1st January, and the end date will be 1st April. Just make it happen. So these are the high level requirements. Just an example he's going to give, and project manager is the one who's going to take these requirements and he's going to create all these things would be in project charter, which will be created by sponsor. So project manager gonna take the project charter and gonna create the PMP. That's the reason project manager is here. He's gonna create the project management plans to manage the team, how to make projects successful, what would be the schedule, what would be the, so we know the start and end date. What would be the exact schedule? How we will manage? What plans we will make? We have the overall cost, but how we will divide it? We have to make the plan. How we will control the scope? How we will control the resource or quality or anything to make sure whatever is written and given by sponsor, project manager has to make the plans to make sure the project is successful and within budget and within the schedule. Okay, so no delay, because if schedule is delay, it's all responsibility of project manager. Why project managers are hired? Because they have to work in the same budget and they have to work with the same schedule. If they can't work it, then we don't need project managers. That's the basic thing. So project manager can't blame sponsor saying that, oh, you made an unrealistic schedule. No, you are the person who is hired to make a realistic schedule, so you can help the sponsor. You will always be a part of, you will give your initiative in making a project charter. You can give your voice to the sponsor, but sponsor is the last person who's going to approve it. Let's go ahead. Provide information regarding the initial scope of the project. So sponsor will give you an initial scope, which is like 4 pages and for the mobile. But what would be the detail of those pages? You are the one who's going to create in PMP plan. Okay, may dictate milestones, key events, and the project end date. Of course, the project end date and the milestones. So I will discuss the milestones with you, what the milestones are and how they're gonna define it. Determine the priorities between the constraints. If not done by customer, they can put the constraints. It means, for example, constraints can be, I will definitely explain the constraints in detail after this topic, but just if I have to give a glance, the constraints are, suppose we're saying, oh, for this project you can have maximum 10 resources. That's it. You can't have more than total of 10 resources. 1 designer, 4 developers, 5 testers. That's the maximum you can have from me. Nothing more than that, because this is what we allow. This is a constraint. It can become, and sometimes the constraints can be, oh, you can have 1 designer and this is the only designer we have available. This is the only designer we trust. We are already giving you the name. You have to use them. You can't even negotiate sometimes. So these can be constraints, and this happens actually. Provides information that helps build the project charter. Of course, a sponsor is going to give so many project information which going to come to project charter, because anyhow he is the person who's going to approve the project charter. Gives project manager the authority that as outlined in project charter, which means sponsor is giving authority to project manager, because what is going to happen in project charter, he's going to write the name of the person, like Miss Sandhu would be the project manager on this blah blah project, and so he's giving me authority to plan for this. So he's approving that this is a project and this manager gonna work on this. So sponsor is the one who gives the authority. Set the priorities between projects. Sponsor could have like three different projects, and he's the one who sets the priority, uh, which project would be the first priority for the company, which another project would be the second priority for the company. He's the one who actually determines the priority between the projects, like which project is more important. We'll discuss more about it for sure. Encourage the finalization of high level requirements and scope by the stakeholders. He's the one who finalizes the high level requirements and scope. He has so much power. Guides the process to get the project developed and formalized, assisted by project manager as necessary. So he's the one who actually approve and do the project charter. And honestly speaking, he's the one who take when he's making a project charter, he takes the help of project manager plus stakeholders. The reason, because you want to know their inputs too. You want to know what they think, what input or what help they can bring that in. So for sponsor, duties doesn't end here. There are a couple of more duties. These are the duties which actually are mandatory, which definitely a sponsor does, but there are many other duties like during planning. What happened, he gives support to the team, project team, time to time. He's the one when project manager makes the PMP, he's the one who actually review. He's not the one who approve it, but he's the one who review the PMP, project management plan made by project manager, and he keeps an eye on everything, and he kind of give a support to them. He can give his expert judgment because he's a senior. So he actually, my bad, he's the one who finalizes too, but the project manager is the one who's going to make the project management plan, and sponsor is the one who actually approves the project management plan. And if there is a technique, sometimes you're confused, the sponsor is here to help you out. Any If you have any scope questions, any questions, and you're in confusion, if project manager is in confusion, sponsor is the one who's going to come and clarify those things. He will monitor the project manager progress and how he's doing it. At the end of the project, whatever would be our deliverables, I would say. So sponsor is the person who's going to accept these deliverables. Formal acceptance he provides, and he uh, transfer those deliverables to the exact user and or customers. He supports the collection of historical records from the project. So there are tons of things he does. So here we end with the sponsor role, but we do have so many other roles too. Let's go ahead with another one. The role of project manager. But before I discuss the role of project manager, it just reminded me that I should tell you about the stakeholder role. What's the role of the stakeholder? Basically, stakeholder is a person who is an end user, who is the one who approves the deliverable, and if he doesn't accept the product, the project is a waste of money because it has to be accepted by stakeholder. So what are the rules of stakeholders? As we talked before, stakeholder can be anyone. Concentrate over here. Stakeholder can be anyone who will be impacted by the project or can positively or negatively influence the project. This includes customers or end users, the project manager, teams, project sponsor, program portfolio managers, or functional, or any kind of the person who is impacted by the project. Doesn't matter what would be the level of influence and impacting, but would be. So stakeholders may be involved in creating a project charter, as I said before. They can be the people who will be helping in making a project management plan. They could be involved in couple of areas of project management plan, but it's better to involve them into project management plan. Because what happen if we're making a plan, we're executing it, and we are controlling and we are delivering, and if we invite stakeholders on this one and they say, oh, no, we didn't want this, we meant to have a blue color instead of pink color, but you got our thing wrong. So the project manager has to go all the way back to the planning again and do everything again. So it's better to involve stakeholder in the starting. Example, when we got the information, we have to make the 4 pages, the design, what we will do first. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna explain this later, but okay, I'll try. So what we will do first, we will go to stakeholder, we're gonna collect the requirements from him, and we got the requirements, and we come back to the team, and designer has those requirements, and he will do the design and protocols for these websites. And the moment we made it, the developer should not just start making as soon as the designer is done. These designs should go back to the stakeholders, and we should take their approval, their involvement. If you like the color, if you like the button, if you like these things, once it's done, that it should, and it's done and approved, then go to the developer, and developer will start developing it. And the moment it's developed, the first page, we will not make the whole 4 pages at once. The moment this is done, before it's go to quality, the developer thing, it's gonna go to stakeholders, we're gonna get their acceptance. When they accept it, then it's gonna go to quality for the final quality inspection, and then after final quality inspection, it's gonna go to the stakeholder again, so that they can say accepted that this is exactly what they want, or if they want to make any changes, they can let us know. Instead starting, instead that when we will deliver the four of our web pages, it's gonna be too late. It's better to get their involvement and acceptance time by time. Even the stakeholders will feel engaged into the project, they will be happy, and they will get it what they exactly wanted. So this is the role of stakeholders. They should be involved in the project management planning. Project charter they have to be involved, because we are making things for them or product for them. They are the one who actually what they do else, they help in managing the risk, and they can provide their expert judgment too. So now let's talk about the project manager. What actually project manager does, what's their role is. So project manager is like generally interpreted, okay, on the exam. However, the authority of project manager has generally been interpreted to mean that the project manager is assigned to project no later than project initiating. Let me show you one thing. So remember we were talking about this. So this is initiating, let me give them a color. Initiating, and then we have planning, and then we're executing, we are monitoring and controlling, and then we have closing. So what these things are, these are the processes. So what happened in a starting, we initiate a project. The moment project come into the existence, we start planning the process. The moment planning has been done, everything has been done, we have planned how we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna start executing it, like implementing it. Now it's the time to execute what we have planned. And monitoring and controlling. So monitoring and controlling is whatever we have executed, whatever we had implemented according to our plans, we are monitoring and controlling this. Monitoring means Like whatever we have implemented, we are making sure we had implemented according to our plans. If execution, implementation is not according to the plans and there is a difference, that difference is called variance. So suppose I have to make 4 pages. I planned for the 4 pages in blue color, but when we did execution, we did the 4 pages in pink color. And when I'm doing a monitoring, I figured that out. I'm comparing the executing with the planning. I figured out that it was supposed to be blue, but it turned to be pink. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do control. I have to control the process. So I will go back and ask them, please make it blue because this is originally we planned. And the moment it's according to the what it is planned, it matches, it's closed. Go to the stakeholder, tell them, hey, look, we made it, accepted. So this is what they're saying. Involve the stakeholders when you're making a project charter. When take their initiative, take what they want, listen to them, and you should invite project manager too, because if he's the one who's going to take care of the project, he can give his initiative too. For example, in project charter, sponsor is saying, okay, Apple iPhone is about to come, so let's start making suppose this time 8 pages because 4 phones are coming. Let's start working from August and make a project and at the end of the September. So maybe a project manager know a little more about it and he could say, oh, this could be the busy month. We need a something. We have we should be prepared in advance. If four according to my last experience, 2 months would not be enough. So 2.5 months or 3 months we should take into consideration. Although the sponsor will be the person who will make the last decision, but it's better to listen project manager's experience too, what initiative he would like to give. So it's better to involve project manager into project charter process. But in case you don't invite the project manager into that, it's still fine, but it's better. The good ethics and good practices of project management says invite them. And even though you don't invite them, they have to be invited before the PMP starts. So no later than initiating. It means they have to be the moment initiating process start. You need a project manager for sure. Okay, so he's the one who helps in writing project charter, and he's in um, charge of the project. He's in charge of the project, but not necessarily the resources, because resources are managed and resources are managed by the functional or resource manager. So if I'm a project manager, I'm working on a project, I'm managing a project, I will definitely grab the resources whether from a resource manager. If he has the resources, I will take few developers or testers from him. Or if he doesn't has a proper resources to give to me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the procurement or another department of my company. I will ask them, can you provide me the contractors, IT contractors with these uh, skills? Like suppose the person should know Angular, the person should know JavaScript, or what is mandatory for the project. So these kind of things. So he's not necessarily in charge of the resource. Basically, he doesn't has to be technical expert, but if he has technical knowledge, there's nothing good can be better than this for sure. He identifies and analyzes the constraint and assumptions. So whatever the constraints are there by stakeholders or sponsor, he has to identify, he has to read them, and whatever the assumptions they have made, he has to read it before he can continue planning, because he has to take constraints and assumptions into the considerations. Lead and direct the project planning efforts. I know I'm taking time to explain it, but trust me, you have to only listen this course. You wouldn't have to go for 2 to 3 different books. If you have like zero knowledge, still it's gonna build up so much that you can easily clear the exam on your first attempt. Okay, leads and directs the project planning efforts. Of course, if he's making a project management plan, he's gonna um, lead it for sure. Select appropriate processes for the project. So he has the authority how he's gonna, what kind of processes he will choose for the project so that the project can be a big success. Just to let you know, project success and project's failure is the whole responsibility of project manager. If project fails, he is responsible. If it's a success, he is the one responsible. Okay. Identifies dependency between activities. I'll tell you more about it. As I'm telling you, you would have to come once you do all the videos at the end, like all chapters are done. I highly recommend you to come to these chapters again so that you will be able to understand more. So he's the one who says no necessary when it's necessary. He developed the time and cost resource for the project for sure. He has the authority and accountability necessary to accomplish the project management work. He analyze unrealistic schedule requirements and take action to produce a realistic schedule. He is hired to give the realistic schedule because he is responsible for success of the or failure of the project. He integrates the um, project components into cohesive whole that meets the customer needs. So basically, he collects all the project components into the one place so that the customer needs can be satisfied. Finalized, gain approval of the project management plan. From whom? Sponsor. Influence the project team and the atmosphere in which the team works by promoting good communication. So he has to create an environment so that the team members can freely exchange ideas, communicate well, and team members know all about the internal, external of the project, all the cultural differences, these kind of things, and how the team will resolve, and the standards for the team has to be set by project manager because he has to do everything to make the project success. He spends more time being proactive than dealing. Take a time in reviewing these. I would say the more majors are he communicates, this is most of the time where the project management manager spends. He assists the team and other stakeholders during the executing or during any actually process. He develops the team, he uses rewards and recognition, and there are many other things he does. If I have to explain what other things he can done, he maintain and control the project by measuring the performance into the monitoring and controlling. He is accountable for project success or failure. He performs the most of the activities which is outlined in this book, and he keep member focused on the risk management and all. These all are the roles of the project manager.